guys, welcome back. This review is for Holly Bay Campground. It's near Corbin, Kentucky, near Interstate 75, and located on beautiful Laurel Lake. This review covers two trips, one from early May and another from the end of June 2021. In May, the weather here was just perfect for camping. You know, it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, nice, cool mornings, and the forest, it's still waking up from winter, and the trees and everything are greening out. And even better, we lucked out. All of the neighbors, the kids on the bikes, they were respectful and quiet. And our site was actually quite large, lots of trees, and it was only a short hike to the water's edge. In fact, these campsites are spaced far enough apart that you actually have a small amount of privacy, and there are enough trees to just gently filter out the sunshine, much different than some of those overpriced and overparked Florida sites. You can actually sit outside your camper in the evening and enjoy a quiet campfire peacefully. And if hiking is your thing, you're in luck. These trails, they're close to the campsites and in great shape, and lots of different plants to teach to the kids. We found some wild iris, sorry about that focus, some glens of ferns, Indian paintbrushes everywhere along the trails, and I even spotted some wild teaberry here. If you've ever tried teaberry gum, you'll recognize the sweet fragrance from these leaves when you crush them. And then there's the blueberries. They're abundant, though in May you can see they're just beginning to form berries. They were ripe when we returned in June. They aren't as big as the cultivated, store-bought variety, but when ripe, the taste is excellent. And then this blue flower. This is a variety of wild geranium. It's not the bright red of the garden geraniums most people are familiar with. This wild geranium, though, has many different medicinal uses, including stopping small bleeding and sore throats, among many others. One last thing about these trails, some of them are part of the Sheltowee Trace, which is more than 300 miles long. I think you'll enjoy them. But back to the campsites. Most that we saw were very level. A few maybe had a slight grade or an incline, but were very reasonable. And the hookups. Our site had an excellent power pedestal and easily accessible and clean water spigot. The fire ring and campsite were just immaculate. I have to commend the staff here. Both the campsites and the facilities were very clean and well maintained. Fresh coffee and a beautiful sunrise. What more do you want? Our site was tranquil and peaceful in the early morning, only occasionally interrupted by a friendly walker. Oh, and by the way, garbage should not be hung on the lantern posts. In fact, we enjoyed Laurel Lake and Holly Bay so much that we decided to go again in the end of June. And this time, our site was even better than the site in May. And Boo, our little furry friend, enjoyed listening to the birds and watching the chipmunks play in the leaves. Our cat, he's quiet, and we don't let him roam off of our spot or wander off alone to terrorize the local forest residents. Unfortunately, this time, we had neighbors who were either unaware, oblivious, or just not pleasant, okay? And after putting up with this constantly for 2 days and nights, it was time to ask the campground hosts, who agreed. This dog was very loud and sure barked a lot, to ask for some help. However, after waiting for hours for some kind of response, Finally and reluctantly, we placed a call to American Land and Leisure and finally got a hold of some very friendly and understanding people there, who I presume contacted the campground hosts, and this time the response was better. It's sad you have to go to such lengths. Finally, tranquility, peace, birds, crows, and crickets, the way nature intended. Although the campground was immaculate and very well maintained, I followed a trail out for a while and came across the Long Bend parking area for day use only. Sadly to say, this area was very neglected, which was sad because this trail actually led to a spot with a nice open view of the lake, an excellent place to have a picnic or just fish for a while. Also, close to the entrance of the campground, there's a road that leads to the generating station at the base of the dam. If you look closely, you can see the fog lift off of the cold tailwater stream, but I couldn't see any trout. Of course, they're probably hiding. There isn't a lot of traffic on this road, so it makes for a pleasant little place to hike with the family, to birdwatch and check out rock formations. Near the dam, you can follow along Route 1193 or the London Dock Road, which will take you to the old London Dock, which really doesn't appear to be here anymore. The parking lot was empty, and it's a close guess as to whether the forest or the parking lot is winning this battle. However, it does look like a great fishing spot, especially if you had a boat to put in. So, driving back to the campground, I stopped at an unmarked pullout on the side of the road, which had a nice scenic viewing area. It might be nicer, however, if the Forestry Service, though, could cut down just a few of the trees to offer a better view. And back at the campground, we hiked the trails alongside the lake for a while. The Holly Bay Marina Trail, number 482, it's actually part of the Sheltowee Trace Trail. The Sheltowee Trace, it's more than 300 miles long, named after Daniel Boone, who was given the name Sheltowee when he was adopted by Chief Blackfish. In Shawnee, Sheltowee means big turtle. And along the trail this time, the wild blueberries were ripening. I hope the bears don't mind sharing a few. And the sassafras was just plentiful along this trail. In October, the leaves will turn a bright yellow, like hickory, making it very easy to spot. And this guy is the striped wintergreen plant. The Indians called it pipsissewa, which means to break into pieces. The leaves can be brewed for a tea, which is good for a number of things. Although it is also called wintergreen, don't confuse it with the teaberry flavored wintergreen, which is also found here. The leaves and the taste are totally different. Our site in June was Loop A, Slip 11, and it was perfect. We should reserve this spot again. Even though not as convenient to the water as our site in May, I think I liked the privacy of this site even better. So, guys, always be a good human, treat your fellow campers with courtesy and respect, and after all, most of us get away to get away. Overall, Holly Bay gets a thumbs up. We would stay here, we will stay here again, and we think you will enjoy it too. Until next time, take care.